Well, guys, the day has finally come. I have officially released my new ManipulationX trading indicator. In this video, I'm going to run through exactly how this indicator works and the best practices in using this indicator in real-time markets. So let's jump right into it. So first of all, if you guys want access to this indicator for yourself, make sure to click the first link in the description below. Along with getting access to this indicator, we have a full-on PDF guide running through everything that I'm going to share in this video. So if you don't understand anything I'm saying in this video, you can always refer to that PDF and just literally copy paste what it says in there when you're taking your trades, and you guys will for sure be profitable. In fact, this strategy is so powerful on its own, even without the indicator, that I have had literally new members who have never leverage traded a day in their lives, and they're doing 18, 20R in a week, right? Meaning if they're risking 2% of their account per trade, they're making 35 to 40% of their account in one single week. That is how powerful this strategy is. Of course, with the indicator, we remove all of the guesswork by simply flashing a signal when all of these confluences are met, meaning you don't have to manually identify anything on your chart. Our indicator will do that for you automatically. So let's jump into how this indicator actually works. Now, the settings on your indicator will look something like this by default, okay? I want you guys to keep the default settings. We've made this indicator work across any asset with its default settings. So although, we have this trigger window, momentum trigger, iFVG trigger window, you guys do not have to worry about any of the settings here. The only thing that you guys will have to worry about is this momentum filter if you guys want, and some other customizations as well inside of the indicator. But really, you guys can leave everything on default. That is how I personally use this indicator. So you don't have to worry about much here in the settings. We do have this nice cheeky little trend dashboard. Again, these are more personalized settings just to make your chart look cleaner. But guys, the logic is meant to be used on default. So let me explain the data and coding behind this indicator. So this is an internal liquidity indicator, meaning iFVG indicator. Now, we have already released an iFVG indicator last year, but it was missing a few things. This time around, we've checked all the boxes. So our criteria for entering a trade is number one, we are waiting for a sweep of an external liquidity level. Step number two, we are waiting for bullish momentum on our easy oscillator, which by the way is automatically coded inside of our manipulation algo. So you don't even really need this up on your screen if you don't want to. And number three, for that final entry confirmation, we are waiting for an inverse fair value gap. So again, I'm not going to cover all of those in this video. I'm expecting you guys to know what those are. If you guys don't though, it's all right. You can learn more about that in the PDF that you get with access to this indicator. But again, you don't really need to know because we've coded everything into these very sleek little sell alerts and these buy alerts when all of those conditions are met. This indicator works best on a lower time frame for entry, okay? So if you trade, let's say NASDAQ, right, futures on a 1 to 3 minute time frame, this will work really well. It also works across any other asset, so stocks, Forex, crypto. I like to use it on a lower time frame as an entry confirmation using higher time frame levels. Now, this was a trade from yesterday on NQ in the pre-market. Again, we're going to run through the steps here in this video. So step number one is you want to see a sweep of a higher time frame PD array, a higher time frame key level. That is very important. So for example, if we're looking at NQ here on a 3 minute time frame, I'm really only interested in taking longs on sweeps of these two levels here over to the left. This is the previous day low on NQ, and this is just a really nice external liquidity level. If you're trading NASDAQ, I wouldn't recommend trading up until like 8 a.m. anyway, just based on market volatility. So, you wouldn't be taking any of these trades. And this actually doesn't follow our criteria, which I'll get into. Number one, you want to see a sweep of a higher time frame level. Number two, you want to see bullish momentum, otherwise known as a bullish divergence, which is shown with this gray line here. And number three, you want to wait for that inverse fair value gap. Now, it's very important when you are looking for that inversion, you want to see a V-shaped reversal, right? A sharp move down with a very obvious bearish fair value gap for a long position. Get inversed, meaning a candle closes above that bearish fair value gap with a bullish candle. Ideally, you want to see this move happen within 4 to 5 candles, okay? That is how you actually identify a V-shaped reversal. So this example here on NQ yesterday, a lot of our members called this inside of the pro group as well. This would have been an A+ setup, right? We had a sweep of a key level, right? The previous day low, very clear bearish fair value gap with bullish momentum into an inverse fair value gap. This would have been your entry confirmation right here. I would not recommend taking trades on NASDAQ at 8 o'clock. But again, this technically also follows the rules. So this trade would have been a stop out trade, but that's okay because the risk to reward using the system is very, very high. Meaning whenever you have a winning trade, right, waiting for that V-shaped reversal, waiting for the signal to confirm, after a sweep of a key level, you will oftentimes get a 1-to-3 or a 1-to-4 risk to reward ratio. And the way that I use this indicator is I do not take partial profits. I wait for those big risk to rewards and I'll move my stop loss to break even after the most recent internal high is swept. So for example, on this trade here yesterday, you're moving your stop loss to break even at this high, but you're targeting the external high, right? The pre-market high. We also have this really nice equal high here. If you guys don't know about equal highs and equal lows, I highly recommend reading through our PDF that kind of goes over this, but this was a strong draw on liquidity. So this was our full take profit target, and that was a 1-to-4 risk to reward. Let me show you guys an example of an A+ setup. Now keep in mind, when you are using this indicator, when you are using this strategy, you will not find an A+ setup every single day. And that is okay. At the end of the month, if you are following these rules, you will be a profitable trader. In fact, in the PDF, I actually made a slide breaking down the math of what's possible and what's realistic using the strategy. So make sure to check that out as well. These are the kinds of moves that you guys want to be looking for, okay? We're not worried about these little pre-market moves, right? We're not seeing any sweeps of external liquidity, right? We're not seeing any massive inversion fair value gaps. This is not a V reversal trade, right? These are the kinds of trades that you want to be taking right here, right? You have this very clearly defined external liquidity low. We get a very obvious sweep of this low, meaning price comes down, sweeps this low, and within a few candles, it has this V-shaped reversal inversing that bearish fair value gap. Now, your stop loss placement kind of depends on the trade. If you are taking a V-shaped reversal like this, your stop loss should not be all the way down here at this low. I would put it below that previous candle low that formed that inversion. And again, you want to be targeting the external liquidity as your full take profit, stop loss to break even at this most recent high. So that is a 1-to-2 risk to reward here on NASDAQ just off that trade. Again, we have a sell signal right here with bearish momentum. This isn't a sweep of any sort of external liquidity. This was a sweep of an internal liquidity point. So again, this trade would not be valid in my opinion. Again, we have another beautiful A+ setup. Again, sweep of this low, a very obvious pivot low right here that we come down very sharply, V-shaped reversal, inversing that bearish fair value gap with that buy signal there. Stop loss at the candle low. Again, we have a nice equal high here that we can target as well for another 1-to-3 risk to reward ratio. You can see that on all of these trades, what do you notice about the momentum on the momentum oscillator? It is oversold, okay? Momentum is oversold as these signals are flashing. This is our momentum confluence that is automatically built into this indicator. So it will not flash a signal unless we get a sweep into an inverse fair value gap with that momentum confluence, which is very key. But these are two examples from last week of an A+ setup, using the system, using the strategy. Here's another example on the 1-minute time frame on NASDAQ, and I'll show you guys a few different pairs as well. But in this case, we have a very clear trending market to the upside, comes down into our local golden pocket. Again, we have a sweep of a low. Again, this isn't a super high probability trade because it didn't sweep an external low, but we did sweep an internal low. Again, very obvious bearish fair value gap down, immediately inversing that with that inverse fair value gap and that buy signal on the algo with that buy dot on the oscillator. That is going to be your entry, stop loss at this candle low, targeting this equal high here as your take profit, another around a 1-to-2 risk to reward ratio. Again, I'm just showing you guys examples of the indicator here. I'm not saying that I would take all of these trades personally. For example, the timing of this one, we're not in New York session. I don't know if I would have taken this one personally, but again, here is that sweep of internal liquidity, tagging into a higher time frame order block, immediately inversing that bearish fair value gap, stop loss at this high right here, moving to break even at this internal low, taking full take profit at this low down here, another 1-to-2 risk to reward ratio. A really nice setup here on Bitcoin today as well with this indicator. Okay, we were in an uptrend. Our bias was bullish. We swept two sets of internal liquidity. We swept these lows right here, these lows right here. Very obvious bearish fair value gap, momentum oversold, inverse that bearish fair value gap. That is our entry, targeting this most recent high right here, a 1-to-3 risk to reward ratio here on Bitcoin. I mean, guys, this is literally clockwork. You can go to any pair and it's going to crush, guys. Now, although this indicator works best on a lower time frame for entry, you can still use it on a higher time frame because price is all fractal. Now, the great thing about this indicator as well is that you can set alerts on TradingView. Okay, you can set an alert for when one of these signals flashes. taking a look at Ethereum here on the 1 hour time frame, I actually went and back tested just blindly following these signals on Ethereum, and you would be up like 15R on the past month just from blindly following these signals on a 1 hour time frame. Another example of a trade here, right? Sweep of an external high right here, bearish momentum, inverse fair value gap, take that short position, stop loss at this high, targeting these lows down here for almost a 1 to 5 risk to reward. Again, we have bullish momentum. You can see the oscillator is forming bullish divs. We saw a sweep of internal liquidity into an inverse fair value gap. This one would either be break even or probably at least a partial at around a 1 to 3, 1 to 4. Again, you can do the same thing for a short position here. Again, we're looking for those instant V-shaped reversals, right? A sweep of liquidity, bearish momentum, inverse fair value gap, that is going to be our entry trigger, another 1 to 4 risk to reward. So hopefully you guys are understanding, what a good setup looks like and what a bad setup looks like. Again, I go more in depth on this inside of the PDF that comes with access to this indicator. If you guys trade NQ, you will love this indicator. As a cryptocurrency trader, I am literally going to be loading up an NQ account and trading with this strategy. There are members, like I said, who don't even have the indicator yet, who are day in and day out crushing using the strategy. So the reason I call this algorithm the manipulation algo, because you are literally entering after retail gets stopped out and as soon as price finishes manipulating. Okay, that is the whole reason why I call this a manipulation algo. In some cases, you can blindly follow these signals and be profitable, but you still need to use basic price action, right? Look for those very obvious liquidity sweeps. Look for those very obvious V-shaped reversals. And if you can do that, you guys will be just all right. I mean, literally insane stuff, guys. And this is all real time. This is non-repaint. These signals are flashing in real time. So really, really insane stuff. No, I don't want to drag this video out too long. I want you guys to get access to this indicator. Try back testing for yourself. Don't take my word for it. If you guys don't want to get access to the indicator for whatever reason that is, then feel free to back test this strategy on your own without the indicator, and you guys will see how powerful this is. Again, if you guys want access, make sure to click the first link in the description below. That's going to be it for this video. If you guys want to see me do a back testing session using this indicator, following the rules, then I can 100% do that. Let me know down in the comment section below. Leave a like in the video, subscribe to the channel for more trading content. So excited to see all of you guys crush with this, and I will see you guys next video.